Yesterday, the Parliament commemorated 100 years of existence. We'll bring you more about this story in our bulletin today. Welcome to TV Africa News. Hope you had a beautiful day. This is Africa Today. My name is Nahaba Kajura, but first to the headlines. Karuma Hydropower Dam to light up Acholi. UPC cautions the 11th Parliament to take example of the 1660s, which served people in commemorations of 100 years of Parliament. Court to decide on who takes the body of the late city lawyer Bob Kasango for burial. And Libya's Eastern Administration hands power to interim government. And in our sports today, Uganda-Cranes to fly to Malawi by chartered flight ahead of their last group match in the AFCON qualifiers. The news in detail. The power blackout in the Acholi sub-region could soon end if Electricity Regularity Authority approves the tapping of electricity from Karuma Hydropower Dam to Gulu substation. We have more.
The Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited recently tabled the plans for approval and subsequent funding before Electricity Regulatory Authority. Mr. Jonan Kiza, the Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited spokesperson, said the power distributor aims at positioning multiple electricity feeders to Acholi. He said the development will also improve the voltage quality in Adjumani and Moyo districts, which have suffered power outages. Recently, Mr. Simon Ujang, the State Minister for Energy, said funding for the project had been agreed on pending approvals, adding that the new 32 kilowatt diversion line would be drawn from 132 kilowatts about 75 kilometers Karuma-Lila transmission line at Kamdini. Power distributors such as Umeme and Rural Electrification Agency have been undertaking projects to improve supply in the sub-region. Currently, Gulu and Kitugum substations, which supply Acholi, are switched off for 3 working days due to ongoing renovation works on the Gulu, Lira, and Gulu Kitugum distribution lines. The works started in 2019 but were halted last year following the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. Regarding the delayed works, Mr. Kiza claims they have usually met resistance from Umeme, which denies Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited shutdown requests to allow the contractors proceed with the works. According to Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited, renovating Gulu, Lira, Gulu Kitugum lines had also met resistance from the public over compensation claims, yet they were paid. During rainy seasons, the two feeders suffer because poles fall down since they are on soft ground, especially in swampy areas, causing power outages. Last week, Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited and Umeme officials. Uganda Electricity Distribution Company Limited and Umeme officials met Gulu city and district leaders to address the issues of power stability in the sub-region. Officials say works on the two lines are expected to be finished by next month. Mr. John Baptist Magulu, Umeme's customer service engineer, said they have doubled the Gulu substation's capacity from 5 megawatts to 10 megawatts to cope with growing demand. TV Africa News, Kachanchu Mtabazi reporting.
Well, thank you so much, our reporter. Now, moving on, the widow of the deceased city lawyer Bob Kasango told Lady Justice Mugambe of High Court Family Division in Machindye that she doesn't know Rosie Kabise as her late husband's mother. This was during her cross-examination before court. We have more.
Ms. Vitarabeho, who is represented by Mujurizi Arinaitwe and Biamukama advocates, said she got to know Bob's mother, Rosie Kabise, after 7 years into her marriage that she had gotten by a wedding that occurred in 2000. She added that Bob was never in a good relationship with his mother to an extent that she could only appear at their matrimonial home at her invite but not Bob's. She argued that her late husband left his mother's place in Tororo between the age of 6 and 7 years for reasons of not being liked by the mother, and until his last breath, he never went back there. It is at this point that she asked the judge to grant her permission to bury her husband's body in a land that was allocated to Bob and his wife plus children by his banker Annette Chibuguru, that is in Fort Potro City in Kabarore district. After listening to both sides, Lady Justice Lydia Mugambe said the 26th of this month to deliver her ruling on who takes the body. The late Kasango succumbed to heart failure while in Ruzira prison serving a 16-year jail term handed to him in 2018 after he was found guilty of the theft of more than 15 billion shillings, which was intended to clear more than 6,000 pensioners. For TV Africa, Najuma Luima reporting.
Thank you so much, our reporter. Now, Parliament yesterday, the 23rd of March 2021, commemorated 100 years of its existence as the legislative arm of the government since 1921. Speaker Rebecca Kadaga said that the evolution of the legislature has witnessed tremendous growth in mandate, size, and impact. Let's take a look at the story. The Legislative Council at inception had 7 unelected members. 3 were ex-officios, 3 were nominated, and an Indian who was not at the sitting then. All members were Ethiopians, and it was chaired by the then governor, Sir Robert Croydon. The Africans who were included in Kabaka and his Luchiko were just in attendance and not part of the Legislative Council. The first meeting in the then Legislative Council was held on 23rd March 1921 at the High Court Chambers in Entebbe. According to the Speaker Kadaga, Africans were not represented, but progressively Ugandans have been able to take charge of the affairs. Currently, the 10th Parliament has 459 members as compared to the 7 members of the Legislative Council in 1921. She said they have widened mandate whose roles, including representations, legislation, oversight, and appropriation. Parliament has become more independent and is composed of various interest groups and is now fully in the hands of Ugandans. Kadaga said that Parliament showed plans to have a week-long celebration of the 100 years due to the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic. The Speaker said that the House will consider a commemorative motion on the centennial milestone and hold a photo exhibition depicting the legislature over the years. Thank you so much, our reporter. Now, the Uganda National Meteorological Authority has warned some parts of the country are likely to experience strong winds and hailstorms as the rainy season sets in. The authority has asked Ugandans to take caution because there will be cases of thunderstorm, lightning, and hailstorms. We have more.
The alert issued by the authority in a tweet on Monday said that the rains expected in most parts of the country are likely to be associated with medium to strong winds, urging people to reinforce their roofs for living houses, granary stores, and keep safe. Dr. Festus Ruboyera, the UNMA Executive Director, said there is a high likelihood of having rains above normal levels in several parts of the country, which is anticipated to be characterized by severe isolated lightning, thunder, and hailstorms. He said the predicted rains forecast should be used for planning in all rain-fed economic activities so as to improve economic welfare and livelihoods for all communities in their localities. UNMA will continue to monitor the evolution of relevant weather systems, particularly the state of the sea's surface temperature and Indian Ocean dipole, and issue appropriate rainfall alerts, updates, and advisories to the users regularly, especially to those areas that have been heavily affected by floods and landslides disasters. Dr. Luera said that the major physical conditions that are likely to influence the increased rainfall for the next 3 months in Uganda include the current and evolving sea surface temperature anomalies over global oceans. He also noted that there would be floods in central Uganda and landslides in mountainous areas of Kigezi, Rwenzori, and the Elgon regions, adding that there could be an invasion of locusts as well.
Well, moving on, in commemoration of Uganda Parliament at 100 years of existence, Uganda People's Congress has asked the newly elected members of the Parliament to work for the common man instead of serving themselves. This was during a press conference at their party offices in Kampala. We have more.
Addressing journalists at their party headquarters at Uganda House in Kampala, the party spokesperson Orach Oyach Sharon said members of parliament in 1960s were servants rather than masters, a symbol of good leadership, and that MPs of the 11th parliament should embrace it in order to fulfill their promises to the people who sent them to parliament.
But for those that have been re-elected back into the 11th parliament, we have given them our checklist. They should check themselves and work for the people rather than themselves, because it's the people of Uganda that have sent them there. So they should take the responsibility and do due diligence on the people that have taken them.
Oyach also said UPC is still in negotiations and will communicate on who will stand for Speaker and Deputy Speaker of Parliament soon. She also asked government to restore the water catchment system in order to avoid effects that come as a result of global warming, and wished the primary 7 candidates success in their exams. Nalgo Muyingo, Africa Today.
Well, let's go for a quick break. We shall come back with more news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the right to know. Now, Guy Smith, an American citizen, has been arrested in Uganda on suspicion of supervision against the government, though in tough with the U.S. Embassy here in Uganda. We have more. According to Fred Enanga, the Uganda police spokesperson, Guy Smith was arrested by a specialist security team in the western town of Port Portal on Sunday for alleged involvement in anti-government subversive activities. Smith's wife Sharon Tumusime told journalists that the 63-year-old retired builder and has lived in Uganda for more than 20 years was taken from their home in the early hours of Sunday. She said the neighbors described seeing armed men in plain clothes take her husband away in a vehicle known in Uganda as a drone, a van with blacked out windows and no number plate. Thank you so much, our reporter. Now, Libya's Eastern administration has officially handed over power to a new executive led by interim Prime Minister Abdul Hamid in a move many were waiting for in the quest for a long-lasting peace. Let's take a look at the story.
The Libyan interim government that is hoping to unify the war-torn country and steer it towards elections later this year was handed over power. The new government of national unity will replace both the Tripoli-based government of national accord and the parallel cabinet headquartered in eastern Libya's Tobruk that have been at war for the past 6 years. Prime Minister Abdul Hamid Dbeibah was sworn in last week after Parliament approved his cabinet, a move hailed by key leaders and foreign powers as historic in the Libyan peace process.
Thank you so much, our reporter. Now, the longtime president of the Republic of Congo, Denis Sassou Nguesso, is set for another 5-year term after getting over 88% of the vote according to the Electoral Commission. Let's have the story. Despite an ongoing economic crisis in the Republic of Congo, the country's veteran president Denis Sassou Nguesso has been re-elected with more than 88% of the vote, according to official results showed on Tuesday. In a brief victory speech, Sassou Nguesso said that people in the majority responded with the vote and have the capacity to bounce back, to recover our economy and move towards the development. The landslide victory for Nguesso had been widely expected given the 77-year-old's strong grip on state institutions and the death of his main opponent, Guy Brice Parfait. The challenger received less than 8% of the vote, according to results announced by the Interior Minister, citing figures for the Electoral Commission. Well, let's go for a quick break. We shall come back with more news. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching TV Africa, The Right to Know. Ethiopia Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has said that his country did not want war with Sudan, as tensions over a contested region along their border spark fears of border conflict. We have more.
The Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed told Parliament in remarks translated into English for a live TV broadcast that Ethiopia has many problems and is not ready to go to battle with its neighbor, but rather to settle their differences in a peaceful manner. He stressed later that Ethiopia did not want war with the neighbor over this decades-old territorial dispute, describing Sudan as a brotherly country whose people loved Ethiopia. The border quarrel is over Al-Fashak, an agricultural area sandwiched between two rivers where Ethiopia's northern Amhara and Tigray regions meet Sudanese eastern Gedaref state. The fertile farmland is claimed by both countries and has been a flashpoint for conflict, most recently as fighting in Ethiopia's Tigray region sent some 60,000 refugees fleeing into Sudan. TV Africa News, Kachanchu Mutabazi reporting.
Thank you so much, our reporter. Now, in our health news today, with Egypt facing a second coronavirus wave, mechatronics engineer Mohamed El Koumi is currently carrying out trials on a self-funded prototype for a remote-controlled robot to assist physicians in running tests on suspected COVID-19 patients. Let's take a look at the story.
Egypt said that the move is in a bid to limit human exposure to disease carriers at a private hospital in Egypt's Nile Delta city of Tanta. The accomplished engineer said that before starting its mission, the robot receives training to improve its artificial intelligence, which is done by a specialist doctor. The robot, called Sira 03, sports a human-like face and head to put patients at ease and can carry out an array of medical procedures, including taking blood tests and temperatures, perform echocardiograms and x-rays, and display the results to patients on a screen attached to its chest. The smart health assistant administers these diverse tasks all while reminding them to wear their masks. The Sira 03 AI has also been developed to perform pain-free PCR swab tests.
And in our sports news today, FIFA has confirmed plans to fly Uganda national team, Uganda Cranes, to Malawi by chartered flight for the final Toto AFCON qualifier, to be played on 29th March 2021. Uganda Airlines will fly the team on one of its bombardiers. We have more.
Latest development was confirmed by Federation for Uganda Football Communications Director Ahmed Hussein. He said that the team will fly out on 28th March 2021 aboard Uganda Airlines Bombardier. It is important for the national team to travel with a lot of comfort during the current COVID-19 times when you need the entire team to move together for better preparations. Ahmed Hussein added that the final contingent will be released by Federation for Uganda Football Association. It will be second time in this campaign that Federation for Uganda Football Association has paid for chartered flight to transport Uganda Cranes. The opening fixture against Burkina Faso saw Cranes use Uganda Airlines as they picked a valuable point off the West African giants in Ouagadougou. Uganda plays Burkina Faso today at St. Mary's Kitende, and immediately after Burkina Faso game, they will fly to Malawi for their final game in the group stages. According to CAF, all group leaders and best second losers qualify for the tournament in Cameroon this year. The Cranes are currently second in the Group B on 7 points. TV Africa News, Kachanchu Mtabazi reporting.
Thank you so much, our reporter. Now, more in our sports news. For the first time in almost 2 years, Liverpool striker Mohamed Salah is back with the Egyptian national team as Pharaohs ready for their Thursday clash with Kenya in the 2021 African Cup of Nations qualifiers. We have more.
With several African players being prevented from joining their national teams by European clubs, fearing their stars would get contaminated with COVID-19, many fear Liverpool might stop Salah from going to the Tokyo Olympics in next July. Mohamed Iraki, an Egyptian sports journalist, said that Liverpool's current performance is not the best, which might stop Salah from joining the Pharaohs. Should Salah be prevented from going to the Tokyo Olympics, the Egyptian national team would miss a key player in the attacking third. In just 67 games, Mohamed Salah has scored 41 goals for the Pharaohs, making him Egypt's most prolific goal scorer of all times. TV Africa News, Kachanchu Mtabazi reporting.
Now, before we end our bulletin, let's have a recap of our top stories. Karuma Hydropower Dam to light up Acholi. UPC cautions the 11th Parliament to take example of the 1660s, which served people in commemorations of 100 years of Parliament. Court to decide on who takes the body of the late city lawyer Bob Kasango for burial. And Libya's Eastern Administration hands power to interim government. Thank you so much for watching with us from where we started. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We shall keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.
This is Africa, and that was the news.